Hi. How are you? I'm hoping you are well. I see we have a few people that have joined us. We are live tonight. Excited to have you here. Please, you can tell me where you're watching from and whether this is your first time to be on the Soul Clinic Lives with us. So put it in the comment section. Say hello. Tell us where you're watching us from. I'm very excited to be having you tonight, even as we prepare for the festivities. It's a good season to gather together and learn something new, especially for those of us who have difficult family relations, those of us who, even may be wondering, do I go for the festivities? Do I not go for the festivities? It's good that we are here so that we learn together, we encourage each other, and see whether you can come up with possible solutions that will help you enjoy the festivities even as you're able to set boundaries. So karibu sana, much welcome. I'm excited to have you here. Please put it in the chat, in the comments. I would love to know who is here and where you are watching us from. It's always encouraging to know I'm not alone. So put it in the comments, put it in the chat. Thank you, Emily. Emily is watching from Machakos. Thank you so much, Emily. On the way from Machakos, thank you for showing up tonight. Is this your first time to be on a Soul Clinic Live, or is Soul Clinic your home? I think that would be important for me to know. Are you here for the first time, or is the Soul Clinic home for you? You can let me know, about that. So please, let's keep it in the comments. Let me know where you're watching us from. I'll be very happy to welcome you. Hi, Beatrice Ochieng. Hi, thank you so much for showing up. Emily Kiptu, I don't know whether you're saying the Soul Clinic is home for you or you're here for the first time, but whatever that is, thank you so much for showing up today. It's always a pleasure to have you here. So if you are here for the first time, or if you are here, you are coming again, feel welcome. This is the Soul Clinic. My name is Coach Ruth Waithera of the Soul Clinic. And the Soul Clinic is where we fix your pain. We help you feel good so that you can live a whole life. The festivities are here, and I want to ensure that you are thriving. You're not just surviving. You're not just enduring maybe things you shouldn't be enduring. And that is why I decided to do this live at a time like this, so that as we prepare and as we go for the festivities, as we gather around with family members, then we know how to carry and conduct ourselves, especially for those of us who are in spaces that are a bit difficult and maybe emotionally draining. So let's keep it going. Say hi to us in the comments, say hi in the chat. I want to give another 1 minute or two for those who may want to join us, for them to come on board, a minute or two. So say hi. Say hello in the chat. Say hi in the chat. Let me know where you're watching us from. If it's your first time or it's your repeat. Thank you very much, Mercy. Mercy is watching from Malindi. Thank you. Eliza Kavindu. This is Liz from Tara. Happy to be here. Thank you very much, Liz. Welcome. Say hi. I'm giving 1 more minute for those who want to join us, because tonight we are looking at how to navigate difficult family dynamics or difficult family relationships during the festivities. How do we navigate those difficult family relationships during the festivities? Because I would not want you to be in a space where you are enduring. These are the festivities. We should be happy. You should be able to relax and to enjoy yourself. So then how are we able to navigate those difficult relationships even as we approach the festivities? Thank you so much. I'm seeing a lot of you. We have Obed Waweru. Hi, Obed from Dagoretti. Karibu sana, Obed. Good to see you. We have Sue from Mombasa. Spikey from Nanyuki. Glad to be here for the second time. Thank you so much. We have Maggie Frank watching from Kasarani. Thank you all for gathering. Let's keep those hellos coming in the comments even as we proceed. Now, there is a quote that says family is not an important thing. Family is not just an important thing. It's everything. And this is a very common view, and it's a good view, because your family can show up in ways that are supportive, that sometimes even your friends may not be able to show up for you. So family is very, very important. It's a very crucial and critical aspect of life. For some of us, it is everything. It's a very important basic unit in society that can never be underrated. We cannot even argue about that, because the family is the core foundation of all the other units in the society. Everybody comes from a family. Whether you are born into that family, you are adopted into that family, you come from a family. So the family becomes that core unit that forms the rest of the society. And it's so important that it's the foundation of all your relationships, including your relationships with yourself. If you've been with me for a while, you've heard me talk about family of origin dynamics and how they shape how you view yourself, how you view the world, and how you view others. It has such a critical aspect in terms of how do you show up in your day-to-day as a career person, as a parent, as a partner, as a sibling, and all those aspects. So family, yes, is very, very important. It's a core foundation of who you are. But what happens to you, because the essence of our webinar tonight is to help us learn how to navigate the difficult family relations. So what happens when the view of that family is everything is more triggering to you than comforting? Instead of evoking happy, joyful emotions, it makes you feel negative in a certain kind of way. What if your experience with family, and maybe it's not the whole family, maybe it's just some family members, maybe it's a sibling, it's a parent. So what if your experience with that family is not what the society expects or what is normally the prescribed normal? Does your family antagonize you more than they bring peace and harmony? Because it is important that we acknowledge the reality of our family relations. So does your family antagonize you more than it brings you comfort? There's a quote that hangs on many of our family living rooms, that the family that prays together stays together. Family is love. I don't know how you feel when you see, such a quote. Now, it normally was a symbol, and maybe it's still there even in the family where you come from or in the family that you're raising. It's a symbol of unity and the values that you held as a family, or the values that held your family together. So the greatest question to ask yourself then is, does your family feel like love? Does your family feel like love? When you think about your siblings, do they feel like love? I hope they do. But if they don't, it's the reason as to why we are here. So does your family feel like love? Or it's this unending library, backstabbing and walking on eggshells? Is that what it feels like? And some of our family relations are so antagonizing. And the reason as to why they are so antagonizing is because there's a lot of boundary crossing. All relationships are governed by boundaries, including relationships with your parents, including relationships with your siblings, including relationships with your children, with your partner. All relationships are governed by boundaries. So when there is a lot of boundary crossing in families, in relationships, there's a lot of antagonism that comes with that boundary crossing. And that is why for some of us, family may not feel like love. It may feel like a lot of backstabbing. It may feel like a lot of, people are in my space more than they should be. They have really trespassed into my private space. That may be what your family feels like. Why? Because there's a lot of boundary crossing. Boundary crossings are relationships that are enmeshed. There's a lot of enmeshment. There are some families that do not allow people to be individuals. You're not allowed to individuate. You're not allowed to have autonomy. You're not allowed to be independent. You're not allowed to learn your own parallel life because everybody is in everybody's business. So those enmeshments with your parents, with your aunties, with your siblings, Some of those siblings and aunties and parents abusing their roles and their statuses in the family, whereby maybe somebody who has a status like a parent feels that they have right in every decision you make because I'm your mother, I'm your father. That's enmeshment. It's a boundary violation. It's someone who is abusing their status. The level of control and invalidation that happens in some of our families is insane. There's control. They want to control each and every decision you make. You'll be questioned. You'll be put to task to explain yourself. You really have to hide, like literally live a completely different life from what they know for you to be satisfied. Because if they know what you are doing, they are going to mess. They are going to meddle in it. They are going to show up in spaces they should not be showing up. And for some families, there's a high level of emotional abuse and manipulation. You may have a mother that is so emotionally abusive and manipulative towards her children, but it is spoken to in hushed tones. You can't talk about it. You can't say anything about it. So it will take place behind closed doors. It will be backed by societal expectations, because some of our societal expectations towards our parents and our older siblings support a lot of manipulation. It supports a lot of enmeshment. So you may have a parent that is really crossing the boundaries. He or she is crossing the boundaries proper, or another sibling, but there's nothing you can do about it because the societal expectations backs that kind of boundary violation, or their religious beliefs, they support some of that boundary crossing. And the moment you find yourself in a space where a parent is abusive towards you or is crossing the boundaries, yet the society supports them, the religious circle supports them, then you, who is on the receiving end, may find yourself so invalidated. So invalidated. You can't speak about it, because the moment you try to talk about it, there's a whole belief system. There's a whole gang of people that are saying you cannot say that. You cannot speak like that about your father. You can't speak like that about your sister. You can't speak like that about your mother. So there's a whole gang of people that are willing to invalidate you, and it is going to force you to suffer in silence. Or even where they're not silencing you, nobody seems to understand exactly what you're talking about. Like, how can you say that? I don't know if, for example, I'm your mother and you're complaining about people may go like, I don't know Ruth like that. Something must be wrong with you. You must be the problem, because how we relate with her and how you're telling us you relate with her, it doesn't rhyme. Especially in cases where we have narcissistic abuse from parents. The person who is on the receiving end of that kind of abuse may not be understood by many people. So some of those on the receiving end, they become so broken, they struggle. So you may realize people are struggling with all manner of addictions. They are struggling with relationship struggles, relationship issues. There's a lot of antisocial behavior. Maybe they're even engaging in crime. They are doing drugs. They are doing all manner of things to try and numb the pain, because the experiences that they are getting from the families are not the very best. And the more the person struggles, the more ostracized they get treated by their family members. So there is this unending cycles of family dysfunctions that take place. So somebody is going through a difficult moment, probably with their mother. They can't talk about it. They try to address it. They are told to keep quiet. Nobody seems to understand. So they go and seek for a way of numbing themselves, of managing the pain. They go and seek for ways that the family does not approve. And the more the person gets disapproved by the family, the deeper they get themselves into these behaviors that the family does not approve. And the whole cycle keeps repeating itself. And nobody knows when and how to end it, or even where it started. And it may become these cycles that families keep going through. The grandmothers, the aunties, now it's your turn, your children come by, And those dysfunctional patterns keep being propagated across your family, across decades, even for several generations. So when you hear time together as a family is a gift, and we are approaching the festivities, time together as a family is a gift. Does that statement sit well with you, or does it trigger you? Does it mean something, or it doesn't mean much? Because I normally tell people emotional pain, because emotional pain is what some of our families may have caused us, or some of our family members, or some of our family relations is what they cause us, is one of the most misunderstood kind of pain, because it happens within. A lot of us want to push it to the back. A lot of us want to forget about it. We want to ignore it because we don't know what to do with it. You want to put on a good face for Christmas, for New Year festivities. You just want to put up a good face so that you can fit in, so that you're able to have some little peace. But that is never the way to deal with emotional pains. And that is why tonight's session is for you. If you are struggling with how to conduct yourself during this festivity, you don't know how to approach your mother, you don't know whether to go or not to go. You don't know what to do with your elder sister. You know she's going to be there. You've interacted with her before. It was very difficult. Now you're wondering, okay, will I go or will I not go? Or how will I respond when I see her? Is it going to be chaotic? Are we going to fight? Are we going to get into unnecessary wrangles? Is our interaction likely going to ruin this festive season? So this is for you if you're still undecided as to whether you want to go home for the festivities or not. If you are feeling damned if you do or damned if you don't, that means that whatever action you decide to take, if you show up, there's going to be trouble. If you don't show up, there's going to be trouble. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Either way, there's going to be some trouble for you. So this session tonight is for you. It's also for you whose relationship with your mother is not rosy. For example, the mother, for example. If your experience of your mother goes against the societal rules and expectations of motherhood, if this person is you, then tonight's session is for you. Because I have seen people whose relationships with their mothers are far from nurturing. Far from nurturing. They have carried wounding that their mothers inflicted on them, or their maternal figures inflicted on them. They have carried those wounds across their lifetime, and they don't know what to do about it. Or is your father your greatest source of pain? What do you feel? What happens to you when you think about your father? His interactions with you, your interactions with him, how those experiences shape you. They shape your identity, they shape your esteem. This session is also for you if the relationship you have with your siblings is characterized by a lot of antagonism, chaos, and jealousy. Because we have families where siblings are always competing against each other. They are always trying to outdo each other. And people are out here working so hard to outdo their elder brother, their elder sister. They are competing with them. The sister does this, you start working yourself towards it. They take their children to this school, you start feeling, a certain kind of way. So what do you do if your family is what I have described above? Or even worse, you're the one who understands your family situations. It may deviate from what I have described. Maybe it's your relationship not with your mother, maybe it's your father. Maybe it's not your father, it's your mother, or it's an auntie. So what do you do when you find yourself in such a situation? And if you're having questions as I proceed, I would ask you to put them in the chat. I'll be reading them and I'll try to address them as we proceed. So if you have a question, please put it in the chat. First and foremost, if your family is antagonizing, then it is warm, then it is blessing. If the relationships there don't feel, or they feel so far from how you would want them to feel, the first thing that you need to do is to accept the reality of your family dynamics. Stop pretending that things are okay when they are not. Accept the reality that your family relations are not ideal. They are so far from what you hear people saying. You hear people talking to their mothers and you're like, wow, I would love to have such a relationship with my own mom. And I talk about mothers a lot because I've realized there are many women out here who have serious relational problems with their mothers. And they feel very invalidated everywhere they go because everybody else seems to have such a beautiful relationship with their mother. How come mine doesn't feel like that? The first thing that you need to do is stop playing perfect relationships. Stop playing it. Stop faking it. Stop. Because this will mean that you are suppressing yourself and how you feel. You are denying the reality that is within you. So if the relationship is not good, the first thing is to look at that relationship critically and go like, this is not ideal. It's not good. Don't suppress, because if you suppress how you feel about someone, it's likely going to lead to a lot of emotional, psychological, and mental ailments. It's detrimental to you. So stop suppressing, accept the reality for what it is. Stop replaying other family dynamics as your family circumstances are different. If Ruth has such a beautiful relationship with her father or with her mother or with her siblings, stop replaying those family dynamics for yourself. My mother is different from your mother. My siblings are different from your siblings. Your friend's father is different from your father. So you cannot go and bring their family dynamics and try to force them to fit into yours. Your family situation is unique. The people you are dealing with are different from the people your friend's family deals with. So stop replaying what other families are having into your own family dynamics. So you got to accept your people for who they are. It's a good starting point. Don't paint them, don't color them, don't justify them, don't know nothing. And don't judge them. For a moment, just look at them for who they are. Because people's experiences and how they interact with others are formed out of their own struggles. This is not to justify anything. It's not to justify the things your mother has said towards you. No, you're not justifying her. But can we allow ourselves to see our sisters for who they are, our brothers for who they are, our uncles and our aunties for who they are, and understand that there are people who are dealing with their own struggles? And that acceptance may come with a lot of grief and mourning for you, because the ideal relationship, the ideal family that maybe you had, you may realize, you know what, it is so hard to get it. So you may need to mourn the ideal and embrace the reality, because there is no healing in the absence of truth. If you wish to heal yourself and probably even heal those relationships, there is not going to be healing in the absence of truth. Stop dealing with your mother as if she's your auntie. They could be sisters, but with two completely different experiences and two completely different personalities. So allow yourself to see the person before you for who they are. Whoever it is that you could be struggling with, allow yourself to see them for who they are. After you have accepted the realities of your family and what that presents and what that looks like, the second thing you need to do is to set boundaries. Stop exposing yourself to abuse and manipulation just because they're coming from a sibling or from a relative or from a family member. The damage that a sibling, a parent, a family member, a relative can do to you may be so deep that it will take you years and ages and decades for you to overcome. So just because they are family doesn't mean that they have a rite of passage into your space to abuse you, to manipulate you, and to cause you harm. So set those emotional, psychological, and physical boundaries. By now, because all of us here are grown-ups, I don't think we have any child here. So you have had time to look at your family patterns and to study people. By the time you're showing up here, maybe there's even someone who is you're having at the back of your mind and you're like, hey, I know so and so. So by now, you know what to expect from some people when you meet them. In that if they behaved differently, you would be shocked. So setting boundaries may look like this. Just need to decide beforehand, before you get into that vehicle and head for whatever direction your family is meeting, or before you open the doors to your house for them to come in. You need to decide beforehand, what conversations and actions will you entertain and what will you not, and stick to it. If you know there's a conversation that when you have it with your sister, it always goes south, nothing good ever comes out of that conversation, please set a boundary. This is what we call emotional and psychological boundaries. Set that boundary that goes like, the conversation about ABCD is not going to happen this Christmas. And if the person wants to start having that conversation with you, you can easily remove yourself and go like, no, I don't want to talk about that now. I don't want to talk about that here. I don't want to talk about that this season. Can we talk about something else? That's a boundary. So you need to teach yourself early on, because some of the people we are dealing with can be they can really come on you. So if you're not prepared, you may find yourself entertaining conversations that you shouldn't be entertaining. So set a boundary. Say, you know what? I'm not going to have this conversation. Learn to have very firm yeses and nos. Please say yes to all the things that are good for you. Say yes to them. Say yes to the things that are affirming you, that are supportive of you. Say yes. The things that work for you, say yes to them. But also say no. Say no. Say no to all the things that make you feel small, that makes you feel wrong, that makes you feel different in a negative kind of way, things that raise your anxiety, things that make you feel sick, things that make you want to pack your bags on the day when you return, when you just landed and you just want to pack your bags and disappear. Please say no to those things. You've got to learn to stand up for yourself. You're not a child anymore. You're a grown man. You're a grown woman. And one of the things that grown men and grown women do is stand up for themselves. And I know it may be hard. It may be something that requires a lot of practice for you to be able to stand up for yourself. And standing up for self does not need to be confrontational. People don't need to fight about it. You can use appropriate humor to avoid conversations that you don't want to partake. You don't have to tell someone, why are you talking to me like that? You don't need to talk to me like that. No. Find your way to navigate that conversation with ease. It doesn't have to be the point of antagonism. Must you keep asking me about this thing? No. So decide beforehand that you are going to enjoy yourself regardless. Regardless of what happens this Christmas, this New Year season, I am going to enjoy myself. I actually need to relax. So I'm going to relax. I'll be taking my evening walks alone. I'll be taking my self-care very seriously. I'm going to be using my yeses and my nos very appropriately, because this is a season for me to replenish. This is a season for me to feed myself and to feed my soul in preparation for New Year. So beforehand, just decide, you know what? I'm not going to engage myself in drama. I'm not going to engage myself in activities that don't feed me. Those are boundaries. Don't personalize. Don't personalize or internalize the sneaky comments. And I know this one is normally hard. We want to go like, why would my mother say something like that about me? Why would my father say that? Why would my sister? Remember, I have told you people interact with others. Sometimes some of those people are interacting with you from their pain. It's there from their pain points. It's got nothing to do with you. There are some people who your very presence just threatens them. They see you, and there's something that happens within them that rises up in a certain kind of a negative way. So don't internalize things you shouldn't be internalizing. There's a saying in my mother tongue, iingilie hapa itokee huku. So just allow things to stop holding on to them. Stop internalizing them. They will ruin the whole festive season for you if you do that. So don't leave your emotional wellness at the mercies of others. Do not do that. Physical boundaries mean minimizing contact. If you know you can't hack 10 days in the presence of so and so, why would you expose yourself for 10 days in their presence? Do 2, do 3. Look for something else to do. If you are on you're having a Christmas break of 3 weeks, can you look for something to do with your 3 weeks? Visit friends, take yourself on holiday, sleep in your house, watch Netflix, whatever that would look like for you. But stop exposing yourself, overly exposing yourself to people so that they can learn your weaknesses, they can harass you the way they want. So if 3 days is what you can manage, do 3. You're a grown woman. You're a grown man. I've told you your mentor, the responsibility for your mental and emotional wellness is with you. So you don't have to spend all your Christmas leave days in the presence of those that antagonize you. If your mother-in-law is already antagonizing of you, minimize contact. Why should you go to be in her presence for 3 weeks so that she can see all your weakness? Who doesn't have weaknesses? We all do. She has an opportunity to see all your weaknesses and all your vulnerabilities and talk about them to her daughters, to her neighbors, to her husband, to anybody who is in her presence and cares to listen. Don't do that to yourself. Brief. Show up briefly. Brief enough. So physical boundaries mean minimize contact. Stop spending days and on end in people's homes if you know you are not welcome in those homes. Have other plans that meet your needs and preferences. Boundaries, those are what we call boundaries. You don't have to do things because everybody else is doing them. If traveling up country doesn't serve you, don't. If everybody is going north, go south. But do the things that serve you. The things that nourish your soul. The fact that everybody is spending 3 weeks at home doesn't mean that that there's anything wrong with you if you don't spend 3 weeks at home. Individuate. Become an individual that has a full life. This is the time to explore those other things about you that make you feel alive. Go ahead and do them. So have those plans. Understand the things that are within your sphere of control so that you stop internalizing things. You can't control another person's thoughts, emotions, opinions of you, or their actions. You cannot control those. Even the best version of you, if somebody wants to criticize the best versions of you, they will. They will see something to complain about. You may show up the best, bring them the best gifts, do everything that they require of you to do, but they'll still complain about you. They will still say there's something wrong with you. So just understand that the things I cannot control are this one. I can't control another person's thoughts, their actions, their emotions, their opinions of me. So if that's how you want to feel about me, that's okay. It may hurt, may make you feel uncomfortable, but avoid unnecessary strife. Don't be the kind of a person that gets invited into battle so easily. Somebody just needs to bait you like this, bait you a little bit with something, and you show up all claws out, wanting to fight. So understand the things that are within your sphere of control, the things that are not. Show up in your best version. Do the things. Do the things that you want to do for them. But once you have accepted who they are, remember we said acceptance, whatever outcomes that come from the things that you do for them, if they don't receive you the way you'd want them to be received, just know that how they receive me is outside my sphere of control. Don't compete with your other sister-in-law who is married in your home because your mother-in-law seems to like her more than she does you. Show up, best intentions. If they are not received well, move on. The third thing that you need to do after setting boundaries is to process and heal from the pain that is caused by these relationships. Because to be able to set healthy boundaries, you need to heal. Because some of us set those boundaries out of pain. Boundaries that are set out of pain on many occasions are meant to punish. And as long as you're setting boundaries to punish people or to show them something, it is not likely going to work. Especially for people that have been exposed to these toxic, abusive tendencies for a long time. If it's from a parent, for example, it's your mother. For you to be able to set healthy boundaries with your mother, if she is the one that antagonizes you, you will need to heal from that pain. You need to let it heal, let it hurt, because many of us run away from the pain, because when it hurts, it's going to heal, and this is a deliberate process so that it can be changed. But if you keep covering it, if you keep running away from it, it will never heal, it will never be changed. So don't fear the expression of pain. Don't fear the expression of pain. Shutting pain down, locking it in, refusing to address it, refusing to pay attention to it is what will hurt you, is what will attract the mental, emotional, and physical health concerns. Shutting it down. But if you allow yourself to look at it, to heal it, to change it, it changes you in a positive way. So if you are holding pain against a specific person, it's time to heal it. Unprocessed pain breeds anger and resentment. It's time to let people go. It's time to heal from everything. And I know some of those things are nasty. There are things that I've had in therapy and through my programs interacting with many people. And it's nasty. You're like, a mother can do something like that to their own daughter or to their own son. A father can do something like that. It's deep. It's painful. But that unprocessed pain will breed anger and resentment. It will aggravate the bad relationships further. Eventually, what it does is that it will make you sick. So even when you're talking about process the pain, process the anger, process the resentment, it's for your own good. Because the more negative energy you carry within yourself, the more it's going to hurt you, the more it's going to make you sick. So heal, deal with the pain for your own sake. It's for your own goodness. So once you accept the people that you have and you've set boundaries towards them, allow yourself to heal. Because when you heal, even their actions stop hurting you the way they used to hurt you. So heal. Someone is asking, let me look at the questions for a minute. If you have a question, you can put it in the chat. So let me look at those questions for a moment. Someone is saying, what happens when you marry in a family where your spouse feels like that his family is unaccepting of him? It is possible that families accept some children and not others. And this is where the acceptance of the reality comes in, so that he's able to set the proper boundaries, accepting that I am unloved, I am treated differently in a negative way by my own family is not easy, but it is the only way to heal. So the spouse may need to set healthy boundaries both for himself and for his family. And that family means his wife and his children. Because if they don't accept him, if they don't love him, if they don't like him, they are likely going to treat his children and his wife similarly. So the spouse needs to accept, to process the pain and heal from it, so that he's able to set good boundaries for himself, good boundaries for his wife, and good boundaries for his children. If there are issues that require to be addressed, let those issues be addressed. However, it is not always possible to address issues. There are issues that cannot be addressed. There are people with whom you can't resolve anything. They don't like you, they don't like you. They have no capacity to sit down with you. They have no capacity to retrospect. They have no capacity to hear your pain. They have no capacity to deal with your pain. For such people, stop wasting your time trying to express yourself, trying to explain yourself to them, because it is not going to work. So if your spouse feels like his family is unaccepting of him, that could be true. And the only way to deal with it, let him accept that truth, let him heal and process the pain and the anger and the resentment and whatever other emotion is there, and then set boundaries for himself and set boundaries for his family. So that the anger, so that the unacceptance and the dislike does not get passed down to his own children, and his wife does not suffer unnecessarily. So the processes are the same. And this is sad to hear, but it's the reality. And remember, I have told you, you cannot heal in the absence of truth. You can ignore it, push it to the back, it will always show up its head. Just when you think you're making headway, the people that are unaccepting of you, the people that don't like you, the people that don't love you, remind you that they haven't changed their opinion, they still hold it the same. So the sooner you accept that truth, the better. It's difficult, it's painful. Remember, I've said it requires you to grieve. You may need to grieve a lot. Your spouse may need to grieve a lot. Because being unloved and unaccepted by your own family is never an easy thing. But it's the only thing to do. It's the only way that they are going to heal. But then if there are conversations that can be had, let those conversations be had. So do I have any other question? Somebody else who has a question? All right. So when healing from pain also involves you not pretending. Authenticity. Stop pretending that everything is okay where it's not. If things are not good, they are not good. Allow yourself to see people for who they truly are. It helps to speak the truth to yourself, no matter how difficult and painful it is. And the moment you start to speak truth to yourself, you heal. And you are able to lead a productive life without dealing with emotional baggage. Some of us carry our emotional baggages to our families, the families we are raising, to work, to our friends. We are bleeding on everybody, people who have no idea why we are bleeding. We are toxic. We have become the toxic bosses in the office. We are the partner that is toxic. We are toxic to our children. We are very emotionally unhealthy for everybody around us. Why? Because we are carrying baggage that we shouldn't be carrying. Then we are spreading. It's like a disease. Negative energy can easily spread like a disease. Everywhere you go, you are spreading it. So heal, so that you're able to lead a productive life that is free from emotional baggage. And sometimes healing may require the services of a professional. There are things we call mother wounding and father woundings. And these may be things that you may need to sit with someone to help you navigate. So if that is what it requires, by all means, please do. Please seek for the services of a professional. But don't allow the things that your father did to you, or your mother did to you, or your older siblings, or the guardian, whoever raised you, because some of us may have been raised by guardians. Don't allow the things that those people did to you or said to you continue to direct your life, and take you to the wrong direction, the direction you wouldn't want to go. Don't allow that to continue happening. Remember, I've told you that it's the responsibility of every adult and grown-up person to take charge of their mental and emotional well-being. So don't allow those things to linger on for life. Some of us are passing very toxic traits to our children. We are hurting our children. We are frustrating our children because we got frustrated as children and we have not dealt with it. We haven't addressed it, so we don't know what to do. We are passing our toxic patterns to our spouses. So you become almost impossible to live with. It becomes almost impossible to reside in the same space with you. Why? Because you have pain. You have emotional baggage that you haven't dealt with. And to help you deal with that trauma that originates from your family of origin and manifests into your adult life, allow me to introduce you to a program. It's a 12 weeks program that I normally run that helps us address the pains around our families and our dysfunctions and the pains. Some of us carry pain that is as old as when we were in the womb. You are not unaccepted. You are unloved. You are a girl. The parents wanted a boy. Or you came at the wrong time. Your mother was a teen. She was not prepared. Or you were born into a family where the parents don't agree. So there was a lot of antagonism from the word go. You came into the world through very unsafe hands, and it continues to affect you to date. So there's a program that I ran, a 12 weeks program, that helps you address all that pain so that you can be able to live a life and the life that you really want. That program is called the Queen's Inner Circle, or Reconnecting with Your Soul Journey. Because some of us, our pain has truly disconnected us from our true selves. That's why we feel very unhappy. You are unsatisfied. You may have accomplished so much in your life, but you still feel very unsatisfied about it. You are like, I don't feel truly happy, regardless. I'm driving the best car, I'm living in the kind of home I would want to live, I'm having my dream job, but I'm still feeling so unhappy. It's because you're very disconnected from yourself. So this program helps you reconnect. So it's an online program. Participants meet once a week. So we meet either on Wednesday or Saturday. We run 2 classes per week. You choose one of the classes that you'd want to attend, the Saturday or the Wednesday one. So it's an online program. It allows you to deal with your trauma and woundedness from the roots. Those things that you have no other space to talk about. The relationship struggles with your mother or father that are difficult that people don't seem to understand. This is the program that helps you address that. So through the 12 weeks, on week 1, we do an introduction. On week 2, we do what we call an assessment of the hidden adverse childhood experiences. Those things that have happened to you over life. It could be before birth, as a small child. It could be in your teenage. The things that are informing how you show up today. So we do like a mapping of all those experiences, and there are many. Some of them you may not even think they affect you the way you do. So they are adverse childhood experiences. You'll be surprised when you do the mapping. You'll be surprised at what you discover there. On the 3rd week, we do the effects. We understand the effects of those adverse childhood experiences. How are your interactions with your family and social environment affecting how you show up today? So those things that could have affected you as a small child, as a teenager, as a young adult, how are they running the show? Because those experiences are normally stored in the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is responsible for 90% of our day-to-day decision making. It's not the conscious mind. So if down there, your programming and your beliefs are not supportive of you, no wonder the results you're getting in your life are not making you happy. So we want to look at how do those experiences affect how you show up. Then week 4, we are going to address a very heavy topic concerning the mother wounding. The pain and the dysfunctional beliefs that arise from your interactions with your mother and your maternal figures. So when we talk about mother wounding, it's not just the mother that raised you. It could be your grandmother. It could be the maternal guardian. So the interaction you have with the maternal figures, how does it affect how you show up in life today? And week 5, and maternal wounding also affects how we show up with our girlfriends. It's a lot about the maternal and the feminine energy. How do you feel around female friends? Do you have female friends? Are you even able to keep them? Or do you view them very differently from what they are supposed to be? Do you have healthy relations with the female? Week 5, we are looking at healing your father wounding. And this is where many of us, myself included, I normally tell people my deepest wounding was my father wounding because I grew up in a family without a father. That lack of interaction with a healthy maternal, paternal figure really affected how I showed up, and especially in my romantic relationships. So we are going to look at the father wounding, dysfunctions that arise from interactions with your paternal figures. So if your father is the one that antagonizes you, or your uncle, or your elder brothers, those who are supposed to protect you, those who are supposed to show up for you, they're the ones who don't show up for you. Then this week 5 is going to help you address that pain, address the dysfunctions, and maybe even help you forge better relationships with them. Then week 6 will be embracing and processing emotional pain because it's the most destructive. We said pain should be addressed. It should not be ignored. So emotional pain cannot be seen. We can't touch it. It's difficult to heal. So week 6, we will use a unique technique to process and soothe and slowly heal your emotional pain so that the things you have gone through in the past will not continue to be a barrier to the present moment, so that you are able to live happily and peacefully. Then week 7 and 8, there is what I call healing practices. 1 and 2, these are unique healing practices that help you feed and nurture your soul, as well as create a safe internal environment. Because as long as your internal environment is chaotic, the results that are going to manifest in the external world will be chaotic. So if you really want peace, calmness, happy relations, better parenting, showing up better for your career, if you want to be able to deal with anxiety, so for those of us who struggle with anxiety and depression and intrusive thoughts and all those things, you need to learn how to create a safe internal environment for yourself. And that's why I said it's your responsibility as an adult, as a grown man, as a grown woman, to create a safe space for yourself. So I will introduce you to those unique healing practices that help you create that safe space within yourself, because out of that safety, then you are able to interact with everybody else and with the world safely. Week 9, we are going to look at anger and forgiveness. In this session, we will use a unique expulsion technique to release anger that has blocked your path to peace, joy, and freedom. So those people, those family members, those family interactions, and by family, we will look at the whole family, right from the family you were born and raised into, or raised into the family that you are raising for yourself today. So we need to release the anger that has come out of those interactions and the pain that lies beneath that anger, so that you can be able to experience joy, peace, and freedom. And joy, peace, and freedom will help you live your life the way you want, content, happy. Week 10, we've talked about boundary setting. So week 10, we are going to look at boundary setting and healthy detachment. And after this session, it will be very hard for anybody to take advantage of you. You'll learn you'll discover how to stand up for yourself and for what you value. So week 10, I want you to learn to stand up for yourself through setting healthy boundaries. And then there are some relationships that we need to detach from. So week 10 will help you detach from those relationships in a very safe, healthy way. Because it's not everybody that is for you. That's the thing that you need to discover. Not everybody is for you. So how do I set boundaries to enhance the relationships that are good for me? How do I set boundaries for those relationships that are not for me? And how do I detach for those people that I know that are truly not for me? Then week 11, we do a very sacred exercise, and this is normally very critical. It's like the whole topping on top of the cake. It's called silencing the inner critic. We put your inner judge, because many of us carry a serious inner judge. An inner judge that comes out of our interactions with our family members, because that is where the inner judge originates from. So we put that inner judge in coffin, we nail that coffin, we shut it forever, so that you're able to live a free life. You live like a free being, because freedom is very critical for a human being. But many of us wake up in the morning and the judge is there. The judge ruins your day. The judge ruins your presentations. You are there showing up for a presentation in the boardroom, and guess what? The judge whispers to you something very subtle, because the judge sometimes speaks in a very small, quiet voice. And the moment the judge whispers to you, everything changes. And even what was supposed to be a great presentation now becomes a very bad presentation. You don't even know where to start and how to go about it. So how about we learn how to silence that inner critic? Because the moment you learn to silence the inner critic, everything else changes for you. You're able to speak greatness into your life. But the inner critic does not allow many of us to experience that greatness. And finally, week 12 is a debriefing week. Participants share their stories and their journeys. And I will give insights into areas that require further healing for you, depending on the journey that we have taken together and the issues that I have seen. So that is an overview of the 12 weeks journey. It's a 3 months transformative journey towards healing. And we are healing all the way from your childhood experiences with your family of origin or the family at which you were raised, all through to where you are. What are the pains that are holding you back? What are the interactions that are negatively affecting you? How do we deal with that? Because I believe in living in authenticity. If you can't live in purpose, and it's not possible to live in purpose if you're not being authentic. So if you can't live in purpose, what's the point? Why should you be given 70, 80 years just to move about life? You want to be transformational. You want your life to count. You want to be happy. You want to truly enjoy the relationships that matter, your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with your children, with your parents, with the people around you. So what if we heal the things that are standing between you and that? So that come 2025, you're living your best life. So you never come out of this program the same. Now, our next cohort is starting in January. Right now, we are registering. And it's for an investment of Kenya shillings 35,000, which is little compared to the transformation that you will get after the 12 weeks. Or you can take advantage. You have an early bird offer that ends on 27th December 2024, right after Christmas and Boxing Day, midnight of the 27th. I have an early bird offer of 30,000 that runs until then. So if you want to show up in this class and you want to take advantage of the early bird, come. If you want a payment plan, installments, talk to me. We can help you do that. So that has been me talking, the one who runs the program. And maybe you are not convinced by what I have said. You'd want to hear from those who have attended the program. Let's hear what 2 ladies who have attended that program have to say. This girl is called Sylvia. She says, I had the privilege of attending Ruth's Soul Clinic sessions, and I can confidently say that she's an exceptional therapist and coach. Her profound insights and compassionate approach have been instrumental in my journey towards healing my inner child. Ruth's ability to create a safe and nurturing environment allowed me to explore deep-seated emotions and pain traumas with ease. Ruth's coaching skills are outstanding. She has a unique talent for guiding participants through complex emotional landscapes with clarity and empathy. Emotional landscapes. Her structured yet flexible coaching methods provided me with practical tools and strategies that were tailored to my specific needs. Ruth's encouragement and support helped me set achievable goals and stay motivated throughout my healing journey. Her sense of humor, really made the sessions more lively. I really loved it. Her expertise in inner child work is remarkable. Ruth guided me through various techniques and exercises that not only helped me understand my past, but also empowered me to embrace my present and future with a renewed sense of self-worth and confidence. Her practical and genuine care made every session feel like a step closer to wholeness. Ruth's dedication to her clients' well-being is evident in every interaction. She listens attentively, offers thoughtful feedback, and provides practical tools that have made a lasting impact on my life. I am incredibly grateful for her support and highly recommend Ruth to anyone seeking profound healing, personal growth, and exceptional coaching. Thank you so much, Ruth. May God continue to bless the work of your hands and keep soaring to new heights of endless blessings. And she calls herself your renewed queen, Sylvia. So Sylvia went through this program and it was so transformational for her. It helped her deal with issues that she didn't even know were the reason as why she was showing up the way she was showing. There are relationships she needed to grieve. She didn't even know how to grieve them. But through this program, she was able to grieve through relationships and was able to start facing life differently. Another lady, this one is brave. Her name is Lucy. Lucy said, "It is said that to know yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. And the Queen's Inner Circle program helped me with exactly that. Accept and celebrate myself for who exactly I am. From previously seeing myself as a broken woman with relational issues with myself and others, always wondering why I was the way I was. Coach Ruth's program has helped me to be more healed, more self-aware, and more compassionate person with incredible self-worth." Lucy was struggling with embracing herself as a woman and her femininity. And it was coming out of interactions that she had during her childhood with the people in her immediate family. The program helped me to reflect on my life from the beginning and how my childhood experiences continue to shape me, even in this big age of mine. I now feel that I can truly accept who I am and can be the best version of myself the way I want to be. I feel free. As much as this continues to be a lifelong journey, I can already see changes. I have become more confident with a shifted mindset from Miss Independent, who did not need to take nonsense from anyone, uh, who did not need to take nonsense from anyone, to embracing my femininity and using my strength as a woman positively. I can trust myself and my intuition to make better decisions and build stronger, honest relationships with others, accepting them for who they are while placing the necessary boundaries. This is what I was telling you. You are likely going to have better relationships with people once you learn to accept them for who they are and place the necessary boundaries. Coach Ruth is gentle yet firm and has been a wonderful coach. Her passion for helping women heal is evident no matter where you are in the world. Lucy was taking this course from the US. So no matter where you are in the world, and her professionalism on the subject matter shines through. I would 100% recommend this program to any woman who, like me, struggled with herself and wants to give herself a chance to be a better version of who she is. So that's Lucy, who took this program early on in the year, and she was able to process a lot of things that were standing between her and embracing her femininity. So if you want to really and truly live a gentle life, an authentic life, you being yourself, addressing the issues that have, because like I said at the beginning, the family shapes how you view yourself and how you view the world. So if the interactions with your family members have in one way or another made you feel like you're defective, like there's something wrong with you, like you have shortcomings that are not human, this is the program for you. And these heartwarming stories, like the one I have, many, very many heartwarming stories, which I wish I could be able to share, but I may not be able to share them, right here. So if you want your story to be as heartwarming as that for Lucy and Sylvia, please come for the program. And over time, I've realized that many women who come for this program also have relational issues. There are women who are going through serious abusive relationships. So I decided to give bonus to the ones that come for this program because I would want you to live a healthy life. And I've realized one of the greatest hindrances to us living in purpose is if you are in a relationship that is not supportive or a relationship that is not abusive. So this bonus is for those who are recovering from narcissistic abuse. It teaches you many things: how to master communication, how to preserve your sanity, how to give yourself closure from narcissistic relationships. The second one is for those who are going through abuse. So if you're going through an abusive relationship, I'm going to give you a bonus. And thirdly, it's called a positive femininity booklet. It's for those who want to embrace their feminine energy more. Because this course is for women, and I would love it if women were able to show up in their feminine energy more. So if you come for this program, those three bonuses will be yours for free to complement what you're going to learn through the 12 weeks. This healing journey, I've told you we have 2 classes. Each class has 10 women. One class is completely full. I have another class that only has 5 slots. So if you want to be able to join us for the January intake, there are 5 slots remaining. Please reserve your slot as early as today. Like I told you, you need to make an investment for yourself worth Kenya shillings 30,000 up to 27th of December, which is the early bird offer. It's ending on 27th October midnight. After that, you'll be required to make the full investment of 35,000. If you want to have a payment plan, please talk to me and let's see how we move forward. But this is something that I would really recommend for every woman who has attended the webinar tonight. If you are able to come, please come. Let's make 2025 a better space for you. So I'm hoping to see as many of you as possible. If you want to make a payment plan, let's have the conversation. I'm going to answer one question as people decide. How do you talk about finances, especially this time of festive season, whereby the family puts a lot of pressure on your spouse? Yes, he doesn't have money and he can't tell them the truth. I'm sorry to put it this way, but every person needs to learn how to stand up for themselves. If you don't put boundaries around your finances, come January, who will be suffering? You. So do you want to carry the burden, the whole burden of suffering, paying for people's things, giving them money that you don't have or money that you can't afford, and then come and suffer later on? No. So let your spouse put boundaries. Let him decide beforehand that I'm going to spend X amount of money on so and so or on this and that. And beyond that, I can't. And he needs to be able to communicate that. Because remember what I've said, you need to learn to stand up for yourself. And I know standing up against family is very scary for some of us. And the question that we need to ask ourselves is why is it so hard to stand up against our family? Is it possible that we have dysfunctional beliefs around families that make us not be able to stand up against them? So the thing that I would recommend, let your spouse decide beforehand, this is the money I'm going to spend on, and I will communicate it as so, and spend the money on the things that are important and that they are urgent, so that you don't spend money on things that are not important and urgent. And then now when the important and the urgent things come, now you don't have money and becomes a struggle. So I would recommend set boundaries. You don't have to tell them, oh, I'm long stories of why you can't give them money. You can just say, for now, I am able to do A, B, C, D. Everything else can wait. But if you don't stand up and put boundaries around your money, you are the one who will suffer eventually. How do you address the fact that most of those aged 50 and below were actually parented by numerous house helps when the parents were busy at work, and therefore the pain is from different parents? And by parents in quote, I'm assuming You're talking about the house helps that worked as parents. Every case needs to be addressed on its own merits. If you have, because over life and over time, you will realize that there are different people that have caused you different kinds of pain. And you need to address each and every one of those and how that pain affects how you show up. However, you may also realize that there's a specific person that caused you so much pain, or the interaction with you was so, it's changed your life in a negative way to a very large extent, that when you address that, then addressing everything else becomes easier. So you may need to look at these parents that you have put in quotes here, meaning maybe the different house helps. Which one created the greatest pain for you? Start with that one, address it. And as you address it, you may realize many other issues resolve themselves. But like I always say, healing is a journey. You can imagine if somebody who is 50, for example, wants to address those experiences. Some of those experiences are 50 years old. They may not be addressed in a day or two. Healing is a journey. Healing is a journey. So start somewhere. Start with what caused you the most pain. It may help you resolve a lot of other things. But don't hold on to the pain for fear that it was caused by many people, so you don't know how to go about it. And that's why I've talked about the professional help, and the professional support and assistance comes in very handy. Because the person will help you do a mapping of all those experiences. And from doing that mapping, then they'll be able to see which one can we start with, which one carries the heaviest weight. That when we address it, it's likely going to address several other experiences. So I hope I have responded to you well and that there's no other question. So if you want to join us for the Queen's Inner Circle that starts on the 8th of January, make your payment through paybill 522 or 603, account number 603-1621. So you want to take advantage of the early bird offer of 30,000 before 27th December 2024, which is next week, please do so. After that, you'll be required to put an investment of Kenya shillings 35,000. If you want a payment plan, please let's have that conversation, because I do not want any of you left behind come 2025. So do I have any other question? All right. If there's no other question, I look forward to seeing you on the other side in the Queen's Inner Circle. I really look forward to seeing the ones that are going to start the year, start it well and start it fresh with me. So come into my inbox if you want to have a conversation with me. Let's talk. Let's see how we can support each other. I also want to say thank you very much for showing up tonight. Without you showing up for these sessions, then all this thing becomes, it wouldn't make sense if I'm showing up here and I'm talking all to myself. So thank you for taking your time away from your busy evening to attend tonight's session. I really, I am grateful. Enjoy your festivities. Please set boundaries, set boundaries, set boundaries. Boundaries are the only things that can keep you sane. They are the only things that can protect you from all the negative energy that could be showing up in your space. Accept people for who they are, set boundaries that support you, and finally heal from the pain and the resentment that you could be carrying towards those close to you, especially your family members. So I wish you well, all the best in your festivities. Enjoy yourself, and for those who are traveling, travel safe, and I look forward to seeing you here next year for our Soul Clinic webinars. Thank you.